Brandon, how are you?
I'm doing good, Dave. How are you today?
Not too bad. How's the wheat crop look in Blaine County?
Well, for the most part, we think it looks pretty good this year.
Well, great. Let's go take a look.
Alrighty.
So what variety do you have here?
This is Gallagher
Okay.
that we planted here, and
It's
it's
looking,
looking pretty fair this
Yeah.
year. We've had some decent weather. We've had a lot of wet weather here lately. We're not quite sure how that's going to pan into harvest, but it'll eventually dry up a little, I reckon.
So did you graze this also, or was it?
This particular field we did not graze. We grazed the majority of our wheat, but we never did graze this one this year. So,
What's been the biggest pressure that you've had this year?
oh, probably, believe it or not, we've had excessive rainfalls. You know,
Really?
that's kind of got into our scheduling a little bit on things. The winter was unusually warm. We had a couple of cold spells, but then we got 92 degrees in February. Things really looked, we thought we'd cut wheat 2 weeks early.
Yeah.
For us, typically the 4th or 5th of June is normal. We thought 25th we'd be out here cutting, but it keeps raining and staying cool. So looks like we're kind of on track still for that first week of June.
Do you rotate this field, or is this just straight wheat?
Typically just straight wheat. Occasionally we will come out and go to a summer crop, perhaps milo, you know, maybe either graze it off or hay it, and then go to milo and fallow it for the next year. So typically we run cattle on all our wheat. We're all dual purpose, but we generally have 2 or 3 fields that we kind of have our buffer zone in case we need it later. This particular field is one of those we utilize because it's on a highway and we bring cattle to it. You know, we don't have any grass pastures next to it.
Well, I was going to ask about that. You know, with wheat prices being what they are this year, how do you make that decision about, you know, do I go ahead and take it to grain, or do I do cattle throughout the season, or cut hay?
Typically the decision we'll make is whether to make hay or grain. Our cattle, we kind of have that scheduled anyway. We kind of know what we're going to do. We do have some graze out acres that we kind of dedicate to graze out every year. But on our wheat for grain acres, we'll kind of use hay as a means to try to keep it clean as far as the rye and the cheat and the other weeds that we fight. Then we've got a hay bale for the next winter. You know, and wheat hay is kind of one of our primary hay sources on our farm because it's here early. We can get hay. Sometimes that later hay in the summer doesn't arrive when it gets hot and dry, you know, so.
Well, and it looks great so far. I mean,
Yes.
it's turning out pretty well.
Yes.
Yeah, and you think next couple of weeks you'll be out here?
I think in 10 days to 2 weeks, we'll have some wheat fields that are ready to cut, so.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for giving us a tour of Blaine County wheat, and we
Well, yes,
really
sir.
appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.